to this episode of Consider It Blacklit. I am Kim, your host, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, Consider It Blacklit highlights films, television programs, and stage plays that feature African Americans both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. We also discuss social issues as it relates to some of these programs and how they may or may not impact our communities. So thank you for tuning in, and we hope you continue to tune in each week. Today, it is my pleasure to feature a woman who has been highlighting women of color filmmakers and artists of color for years, Carolyn Butts. Carolyn is the publisher of African Voices magazine, and she also is the founder of Real Sisters of the Diaspora film and lecture series. Welcome. So let me tell you a little bit about the organization. Real Sisters of the Diaspora film and lecture series was founded in 1997 by African Voices magazine and Long Island University Brooklyn College. It is the first Brooklyn-based festival devoted to supporting films produced, directed, and written by women of color. Since it started, 500 films by women of African, Caribbean, Latino, Asian, Indian, and Native American descent have been featured. Real Sisters attracts more than 800 film lovers from across the nation and the globe. The festival screens 25 films each year, but they also provide scholarships for emerging women of color. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So before we start talking about the festival itself, let's talk about African Voices magazine. How did you get started doing that?
Well, I'm a writer myself and a journalist, and in 1992, I didn't see too many publications that featured Black art and literature and short stories. So I decided that I wanted to do that, and I was able to just get a small group of artists together, and we just launched, and we had a flood of poetry and short stories just coming into the magazine, and it was just like a pleasure to be that outlet where people could get to read, our work, and to enjoy our art.
Okay. So what kind of content is in the magazine? What can someone see?
Well, you can pick up, like, for instance, this issue. We have an article by Marsha Can. She's a short story writer and poet, and it's a very magical realism type of piece that celebrates her personal history, her family living down south. I think it's called Wash Tub, a Tub, and an Iron.
Oh, okay.
It's a usual name. But, you could get, like, articles and features on Black authors, choreographers, filmmakers. So we actually showcase, the whole realm of artists in our community. And like I said, the other thing that I really love is that I wanted it to be very visual, so that when you pick up the magazine, I want people to just, like, it'll pop, and it's something that they want to see and frame on their, and they have, on their wall. So it's, it's like a keepsake. It's something that is really put together with a lot of love.
Yeah, and the artwork that you have on the covers are beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, they are. So why don't you tell us about some of the editors that you have working with the magazine? I know you wanted to announce a new editor, so we'll let you do that.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say thanks to Ikeri Talley. She's the current poetry editor who's been with us for the past 5 years, but longer as a part of the staff. And she just had a baby about a year ago. And she has 2 other young daughters, so she is resigning. And who is stepping in her place is Angela Kinnemore, the former editor of Essence. And so we're very excited that she's joining our staff. She's going to bring in new energy and, real balance between the scholarly poetry and literature we publish and the community poems that we always, that's a signature of African Voices.
Okay. Well, I definitely look forward to seeing some of her work and for future issues.
Yeah.
I also like the events that you have around African Voices. Actually, the Activist Rising series that you had, we're going to show a clip of that series, so take a look.
Welcome to the Artemis Rises.
We call this exhibition the Artemis Rise because it's just an extension of what's going on.
We wanted to, as an art organization, the magazine tries to reflect and touch people with art and hopefully move them. We're a nonprofit, we're independent, so every donation, every time you buy the magazine is actually going back into our work. And when we were thinking about this exhibition, of course it was inspired by Black Lives Matter and a whole lot of activity. Obviously, this is in sync with our mission to use art as the ability to change and for activism.
Because there's an activist in every single one of us.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's talk about Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film Festival.
Yes.
I love that.
Woman power.
Woman power, yes. So how did you get started doing that?
Same way, I had a short film with Reggie Gaines called Underground Voices. And when I was trying to get that out there, I discovered that less than 1% of Hollywood films are directed or produced by women of color.
Wow.
And you know, that figure really hit me, and I decided that I wanted to do something about it. So I started Real Sisters. Back then, Brooklyn didn't have a whole bunch of film festivals that were geared toward women or African Americans. They were mostly Manhattan-based. And so we had just wonderful people from all around the world embracing the films that we had in the festival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you go about selecting films to be in the festival?
Well, we do our calls, we use social media, we use word of mouth, and we have a really, just ass-kicking, if I could say that.
You said it.
committee that comes together, and they, make sure things are in our guideline. They do the first reading. Then the second committee is a committee with film professionals and community leaders, and they kind of just know the energy of what Real Sisters is about, what our mission is about, and they are the ones that make the final selections for the 25 to 30 films that you see each year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen the festival grow over the years. Tell me what has changed between when you first started and now.
Well, I think when we first started, it was before gentrification. And so we had like a really nice audience. And then when people started moving away, and then the Brooklyn Academy of Music opened, they opened the theater, and then you had a whole bunch of other film festivals coming in that were sort of similar audience to what we were doing. So we had to change the way we did outreach to connect with people. And it actually, in the last 3-4 years, it really opened up doors by doing that, because we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of personal things, conversations online, and interviews with some of the filmmakers in the festival. So before they come to the festival, they already are excited about the work.
Yeah, have some information
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. And I know you've had a lot of partnerships over the years. Tell us about some of the people or organizations that you've partnered with.
Well, one of them you know very well, Image Nation.
Yes, we love Image Nation.
I
Yes.
love what they're doing. They've been very, they partner in so many different ways. Sometimes they're a media partner and help us get audience to come. Other times they're actively in the festival and they're hosting sections of the film festival. So just praises to Kunsi and what she does. Centric is a really great sponsor. As you know, they changed their whole network to serve women of color. So our timing was perfect.
It was perfect. It was perfect, yes.
And they help in terms of resources and also giving the scholarship money and distribution opportunities to some of the women in the festival. Time Warner Center, we've done partnerships and presenting programs with them. Medgar Evers College, the National Black Writers Conference. They started, and I think we influenced them because then they started inviting us almost every year to do a whole section, and it's been like a transforming experience to have like a whole another audience. That way.
It's great. Yeah, I've definitely seen it grow. So any filmmakers out there looking, if you do participate in this film festival, you will also get this exposure to the network. So it's a great festival. And actually, you had mentioned how Centric had presented some scholarships. We actually have a clip of that presentation. Shout out to my sorority sister, DePelsha Magruder, who was making the presentation to the filmmakers on behalf of Centric. So take a look.
I just want to congratulate you. I'm DePelsha Magruder from Centric. And we are very excited that you're winning the first ever Centric Real Sisters Best Narrative Web Series Award. I really enjoyed watching your work. And for those of you who don't know, Centric is the first network designed for Black women, and we celebrate the history and So with that, we celebrate the beauty, the creativity, the diversity, the brilliance of Black women, and also the complexity. So one of the things I loved about your work is that we're not all one thing or the other. We can be ratchet and refined. We can be trendy and traditional. We can be sexy and saved all at the same time. So we celebrate that. We celebrate our complexity and our diversity, and we look forward to showcasing your work. So congratulations.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So I know when I go to the festival and any kind of celebratory, I see Brooklyn Council member Jumaane Williams there.
Yes.
And he is always so enthusiastic. How did he become involved with the festival?
Well, his childhood friend, Patrice Bradshaw, who's also a founding member of Real Sisters, kind of just got him, just roped him in, told him about Real Sisters, and you know, he's also a proud supporter of women organizations. So, and he also wants to be an actor.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like all these things
All together.
Yeah, and he and just to say, we're celebrating his birthday next week, I believe.
Okay.
He's having a birthday
Make sure I get
party.
my invitation.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he likes to, you know, he's fun, you know. We also have Lori Cumbo, who's our other council person, who's a
Yeah,
starch.
I've seen her there
Yeah,
too. Yes.
she's a really wonderful supporter, and she was the founder of Makata Museum. And from the start, like our second or third year, we did partnerships with us. So she knew us before she was even a council person, and she's been active as well.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah,
That's
so we're
excellent.
happy.
Yeah. So at the festival, I know you give awards to filmmakers, but you also have other awards that you present to people in the industry. Why don't you tell us about those awards?
Yeah, we have the Real Sisters Pioneer. Well, actually, we changed it to the Real Sisters Hattie McDaniel Pioneer Award. And to celebrate, you know, just leaders in the industry who open doors for other women. And the second award is called the Trailblazer Award, which is to people who, like Notoria Norton, who are still, you know, making the way in the industry. So these awards are very important because they're inspiring to the people who come to the festival, and they see people like Kathy Hughes. They see Nima Barnett, who's one of our first award winners, and it just tells them that they can do it too, that they can make that way. Issa Rae was one of our honorees.
And that was before she did.
That's before she did the HBO Insecure. She was fresh off of Awkward Black Woman, Girl. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. Yeah, I actually attended. I was able to present to Kathy Hughes at one of your awards ceremony, and she gave a very inspirational speech and was very supportive of the film festival. So we have a clip of that. Take a look.
I'm the great-grandnephew of Hattie McDaniel, Kevin John Goff. Miss Hughes, your legacy is intact, but you're not through. There's more to do. There's more for all of us to do. And although I'm not a real sister, I do support you.
I have to honestly say I am just so honored. Carolyn and Lisa, you got the real name because it also could be spelled R-E-A-L. You all are really real sisters in this organization. Truly real sisters. This program not only is so rewarding and inspirational and gratifying for me and Notori, we're having fun. So now I'm a real sister because I just wrapped and put in the can my first movie.
I love Kathy.
Me too. Kathy Hughes is like Oprah before Oprah was Oprah. I mean, I just, you know, I followed her from the beginning of my career. In fact, her place in D.C. when I was 20 years old, for some reason, I thought I could just walk into Radio 1.
Oh, really?
And they were like, nah, you have to have an appointment. You can't just walk in.
Oh, you were just going to go and just chit-chat with her.
Yeah. So flashback 20 years later, I'm honoring someone who I deeply admired, who made, you know, open doors for so many women and other people of color. And it was just a great moment last year when she said, I'm having fun. I'm a real sister.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow. You know, the wonderful moment. And, you know, I hope she brings her film. She has a film back to Real Sisters. But I think, you know, honoring people and, you know, just that who have impacted the community, it's an important thing. Let's do that now while they're living, you know, and also, you know, passing the torch on is important as well. So, you know, that's a very strong part of what we do at Real Sisters, is do that sistership circle thing.
Yeah, definitely. You do that very well. Now, I know that you've had sponsorship from the National Endowment of the Arts and some other organizations. Is it hard for the festival to get sponsorship?
Yeah, it's always a challenge for, we're a nonprofit organization, so it's been a challenge over the years to do that. And recently, the last 3 years, we've been bringing on new people on our board of directors who have background in fundraising and financial management because, you know, business and the arts, that's something that, you know, we need to really focus on because we always do the arts on this level, the craft of what we do. But sometimes the focus on how are we going to support this great art, how are we going to pay those writers and those filmmakers, that's important too.
Yeah, very important, because you have to be able to sustain.
Yes.
Yeah, and the business is what helps you to sustain it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But, you know, we talked about business, let's talk about fun. Like I said, I've gone to most of the festivals, and you always look like you're having a good time.
Yeah, that's
So why
important.
don't you share with the audience some of your favorite moments from the festivals over the past year?
Well, I'll say over the past years, we had this Double Dutch Divas. That was one of my, the 10th anniversary was amazing. Because we showed Nicole Franklin's film, but
we've had Nicole Franklin on our show. Yes.
Yeah, and then we brought the divas in there, and they're women of all ages, and it was, you could see the face on people in the audience. We invited them to come up and just start jumping, and they did, and it was just, you know, really fun moment, but it was also an empowering moment because, you know, we should always connect with that child, that freeness, and that is, you know, that's art, that's healing.
Definitely, definitely. But I know a particular moment when you had a lot of fun is at an award ceremony when Melissa Morgan was singing.
Yeah.
I never saw you dance so hard.
And it was my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday. Oh, you were having a great time. I wish I had video on that. I think I may have it somewhere.
Yeah,
but.
we have a video. But it was,
you were having a good time.
It was great. And it was interesting because I said it was my 50th birthday, I'm honest about my age. And I said, I want to have a party. I want to dance. And lo and behold, that moment came.
Yeah, because Melissa Morgan always turns the party out.
Yeah, we all got up and, you know, it was just, you know, Jamani Williams was in the thick of it.
Oh, yes, yeah. Like I said, he always has a good time.
Yeah, but that's, you know, that's what we want. We want not only, you know, the celebration of the art, but just the, you know, the beauty of what we do as a people. And what's really interesting is that we got a letter, and apparently someone in that audience had a family member who passed, and they were on borderline about whether they should come to our event. And apparently the person came and had a wonderful time.
And it lifted their spirits.
Yes, and you know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and wrote us about it, you know, the moment.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so I mean, that's like I said, art has a way of transforming and healing people.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether it's film or literature, and that's, you know, that's what I want African voices and real sisters to be known for.
So it's your 20th anniversary for the film festival and the 25th anniversary for African Voices. Do you have any special activities planned around the anniversary?
Well, we're still working them out, but what we're really proud of is that this year for Real Sisters, in the fall, is that we'll be at the Magic Johnson Theater in Harlem. So we think that's going to be a really awesome way to present the festival. And in Brooklyn, we're going to be at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema Festival.
Okay.
And we're going to showcase family films. It's going to be Real Sisters, a family affair.
Oh, nice. Yeah, very, very nice.
Yeah.
So not only do you do the film festival, you screen films, you have workshops and a lecture series. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about some of the lecture series and workshops that you've had? Well,
we've had like editing workshop presented by Sam Pollard. You know, he's done many films with Spike Lee. And that was one of the most popular workshops. It was sold out. And the way he presented, you know, editing, the craft of storytelling, you know, editing the film, the music and the rhythm, he really broke it down. People didn't want to leave the workshop.
Wow.
And he looked like he had fun doing this. And we've also had web series, we had films, lecture series on that. We had one on comedians, Black woman comedians. That was a popular.
Yeah, because I think I tried to get into that one. That was sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and we had, you know, we've just had so many different lecture series. Last year we had woman-owned production companies. That was really empowering, you know, to see how, you know, the average community production house is doing, you know, women who are doing that and managing that. So that was really nice. So it's not just like Oprah and Ava DuVernay. You have a whole bunch of women out there producing films
women
now.
behind the scenes, you know, producing content. Yeah, that's good that you highlight that.
Yeah, that was nice.
That's why we love you. So right now you're accepting films. The deadline is when? June 20th. June 20th.
Yeah.
And we're going to put more information on the screen. So if you have a film that you would like to submit, you can have the information as well as how to subscribe to African Voices. When is the festival taking place this year?
Yeah, it's taking place October the 21st to the 22nd, 2017, you know that.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a special pitch saying that we really would like to see animated films in our festival.
Okay.
It's been like, it's, you know, we want to highlight that, and it's hard to get down if they're shy, but that's a whole world of films. You know, you look at Disney and Pixar, you know, those are big productions that are general interest. And I think, you know, we as women should you know, really be present in that arena as well.
Right. It'd be interesting to see women of color submitting things in animation. I would love to see that too. Yeah, because those big blockbuster ones, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we want to have a piece of that also. Are there any interesting films that have been submitted so far? Anything you can talk about?
So far, I mentioned that the Million Man March, The Untold Story. Someone just submitted that recently, and I'm really excited. I want to learn what the untold story is.
Oh, wow.
And you know, we really like that, like Hidden Figures. We want to highlight stories that are not done. I mean, I remember in the early years there was a joke because every year we would get a hair story. I mean, it was fun, but it's like every year.
Yeah, well, we know about the hair. We know about our problems. I have my story. You have your story. Everybody has a story.
And it's fine, but it's like we want to go a little bit beyond the hair and get some other stories told.
Definitely. So we're winding down a little bit. If you had one sentence to convince somebody to come see the festival, what would you tell them?
There's so much at this festival that really reflects who you are and who we are, that if you come, you're going to have a good time. You want to bring your grandmother, your mother. Just come and you see, you enjoy.
Well, I definitely totally support the Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film and Lecture Series. I can guarantee you will see some great films by women of color. You will have a great time, and you may even get to see Carolyn dance a little bit. So we're going to put on the screen information about how you can subscribe to African Voices magazine, how you can submit your film to Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film and Lecture Series, as well as their website if you want to keep up to date on what they're doing. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for coming out and sharing this information with us. And please go out and support the festival and the magazine. We're running out of time, but until next time, consider yourself Blacklit. Thank you.